Okay, much as I didn't want to make a personal appearance in today's video, that's Cuddles. Hi, Cuddles. I guess life had other plans for me. I couldn't get the other video toys to work steady without all that flashing. So here goes. This is from 3:15, and I'm again surprised that I'm recording. I've been going through up and downsville, round and round. It's not a light thing, processing our fear. It's just not. Okay, so on the road to wherever it is. Last night, let's see, and the Mayan day was 9 storm. Last night, for a long time, I listened to stories of people's near-death experiences, NDEs. When I do that, so often it takes me into such joy. I connect with the people themselves and I can feel their energy, and these NDEs change people. They open them up in a way that makes them beautifully accessible to light, in light. The truth of their words and experience shines there. It's a bit like going back to the other side myself for a visit. It helps me, well, not remember exactly because it's not a mind function at all, but it helps me connect up in heart with it. I kept the playlist going, adding new videos to it from those in the related column. It's up to about 10 hours or so now. Some I had heard before, but it was like I hadn't. They were fresh and new to me once again. These stories renew my heart or my soul or something anyway. They always have. For about 12 years, a while back, I was so immersed in them, I called NDE Studies my hobby. But it was mostly books, reading, a few videos back then. I didn't have the internet. Last night, my friends, these things nearly took me into heaven. As I lay there, my body was charged and renewed with such energy, such joy flowing through me. It was hard to contain, but that's okay. I didn't try to contain it. I just let it flow through. I don't know when I ever felt so one with creation, with divine love. When the love is divine, there's also a joy flowing through it. It can be quiet or intense. Last night it was intense. I felt like a veritable highway for the indescribable flow of this energy through my whole body. Feet to and through head in a continuous flow. I felt so very one with that. It was like there was no difference between me and it. Sleep didn't come for quite a long time. This was a very energizing flow. It's all just love, my friends. Everything, literally everything in creation is only love. I even understood the supposed hell experiences. I knew they were not that, for no hell exists beyond our own belief and creation, which of course religion programs us to do. They program us to those beliefs. So each one's hell, if she creates one, is within the person's own consciousness. Yet they don't see this, usually, due to two things. First, they can't get past their strong belief that hell exists. And second, well, that's this underlying sense of worthlessness, guilt, being a sinner, all of that. Remove these two, and hell literally disappears. Having a hell and having people believe they are worthy of that, this suits the dark ones, the powers that were, very well. They're happy with their creation, for it is they who took the beautiful flow of man's spirit and structured it into religion. Spirituality is great. It's our nature. Religion is not that. Frankly, my friends, Many of us have no idea of the freedom that awaits our beautiful spirit once we realize that these gods of the Bible, Yahweh and Jehovah, are ET, extraterrestrial beings playing at being God. They are not that, not the fullness of the one. But in their arrogance, they are happy to pretend and to make man believe. And just as an example of where I'm getting this, take when Moses got the 10 Commandments and he came down from the mountaintop. And it was back then the days of Taurus, of the bull. Jesus, the time has been the age of Pisces, so Jesus is associated with the fish. We have the divinity associated with the astrological sign. It just seems to work like that. So that's why the bull was such a big thing. It was the age of Taurus, all right? Or was it Aries? I don't know. I get them mixed up. Anyway, he came down from the mountain, and there they were. They had slipped back into what was the common worship in that day, which was the bull. And so he had the men, I'm assuming, take up instruments and kill about 3,000 of the people who had been worshiping. That was their brothers, their mothers, their sisters, their friends, and slaughter them. Is this the act of the one true God? I think not. Please be in heart. See through the programming. So, I know this is terribly shocking when someone first comes on the idea, God and ET, and I'm not saying to accept it. I will say, make room for the possibility. That's all. Go to your heart with it. Give it to the real God, the one whom I call source or prime creator, to be sure to distinguish that one from the rest. Or in my writing, I'll use a lowercase g for the gods that are not the one God. Or the God. I mean, everything is one, so one God doesn't make sense. Lately, source or my guides or guru or higher self or whatever has been teaching me on this topic, gods and heavens and such. So I've been sharing what I'm shown. I'm not in a hurry though, and seeing that it's such a touchy topic, maybe that's best to take it slowly. You may have already looked and considered for yourself that this is so, looked at the possibility. All it takes is a reread or a reconsideration of the Bible with this idea in mind to see it. The God of the Bible is not the one God. He is too petty, too cruel, and too immature. You've come a long way if you've already considered these things, and that's great. But have you taken it farther? I hadn't until last night. We hear in the Bible not just God, of course, but we hear of angels and messengers, prophets, and all the rest. There's a whole panoply of characters populating the story, all connected to this God, little g. Well, the next step, and it's a big one too, is to see that all of these are also lesser beings, not directly worshiping the one God. They are servants of the ETs. They are not servants of prime creator, source, or the real God directly. Indirectly, of course, we all are. Now, it was a disappointment for me to let go of any and all faith in the angels. Well, the archangels, anyway, and those named in the book. The Bible's God often called upon them to carry out his will. They are the lesser servants of the ET beings who are playing God. Therefore, they cannot be trusted any more than the ET gods can be trusted, which for me is not at all. They are not God. They say they are, ergo, they are liars. That is certainly not the one God. I say that again, prime creator. So I'm done with it all. I had already given over believing in Jehovah and Yahweh Not that they don't have awesome power. Obviously, they do. But, my friends, so do we. We're divine beings. We've just been stripped of it and temporarily programmed to be in this mess. We've no idea the range or extent of our power. Had you considered that maybe it was those very ET beings that did or caused the stripping of our DNA? Now, I'm not saying that it happened that way. I'm just presenting a thought or a possibility here. And I put it in a separate paragraph to isolate it from what I do believe. What I've found is that in giving up the gods of the Bible, I gave up a lot more. Not just the angels, but the prophets, the messengers, and all the rest. They were misled. I still believe in Jesus and in what he taught. But I don't believe that that is fairly and truthfully reported in the Bible either. My bet is that he was much more of a rebel than they illustrate there. So, what do I believe? Do I believe in angels at all? Let's step back from the Bible and take a look. Yes, I do believe in higher dimensional beings. That would include angels and beings of great power. I specifically reject the Bible's hierarchy of angels as servants of those ones claiming, in my eyes falsely, to be God. I'm not interested in them or anything they've got to say. For all I know, they're misinformed too. Now, that doesn't mean that angels don't exist and don't serve man and all of God's creation. I must admit that what surprises and disappoints me here is that such deceit can be present on higher dimensions. And it also makes me wonder just on what dimensions these guys exist. We know that the fourth dimension harbors some pretty dark stuff. The astral is there. I go with George Kavasilis on how he sees the fourth as being so large and so diverse. We've got everything from the lower astral, which is very dark, and some have visited it and considered it hell, to higher beings of light. Now, here's the thing I think we've got to consider, that because we're here in 3D, this means that anything and anyone in the higher dimensions can seem to be made of light simply because their vibration is higher than ours, fourth being higher than third. Vibration was the trick to Lucifer appearing either as a devil or an angel of light. On the fourth dimension, both are possible images to project into 3D. If we're in mind, we can be deceived by appearances like that, but not when we're in heart. We are also higher dimensional. We can access those higher levels right within our very own being. And that means we can see through these things. So, if you have an angel or a being of light appear to you, challenge it. If it's a good guy, it won't have a problem with that. If it's a bad guy, it probably will. Stick to heart. I don't know what else would or could get us through all that's before us to sort out, but what is found in our own kingdom of heart. That's our place of both power and strength. It's also resonant to truth. So hanging out there will be where you'll be able to see through all of the lies. Now, they are skillfully laid, and we are skillfully programmed. That's also true. What to do about that? Walk away from the mind more and more. That was all they could get to. All they could program was our mind. And yet we are not trapped there, unless that's what we choose. Your heart, they can't touch. They can't even approach. So come from strength, come from heart. Being a lover of truth is the best way to sort through, the bullshit, because that's what a lot of it is. It's a rather hard path, though. It requires a lot of you. Before you're through, the whole world you'd constructed as your reality will lay in tatters at your feet. It takes true courage of heart to be willing to take this route home. It may be the fastest one, but it will beat and pummel you around on the way. We've taken a lot of stuff on that's just not true, and this is a good way to get it knocked off of you. Only a true and sincere love of truth will see you through, or such an intense love for God. Same thing. Those who carved out the Bible's scriptures for us, they can't be trusted anyway. They had ulterior motives. Constantine wanted to get control of his kingdom, and he chose the Christian religion as his tool to accomplish that. I challenge whether he had that vision of the cross in the sky or not. What came after it was so political. I really do challenge it. I'll give you a link if you'd like to peruse some of the more original scriptures like they were written, such as the books of Adam and Eve. There are 2 of those. There's a link to a good site where they're all made into videos and read in their entirety, but they're on YouTube as well. And I've got a link there. It's very eye-opening. You'll be amazed. We have to take what's within us as higher and holier than all of that, too. Within us abides either the true God or the direct conduit to that. I don't know how to explain it. We each have a direct line. We need no priest and no intercessor. He said, I am the vine, ye are the branches. There's a oneness there we can claim. That whole thing about being sinners is just more of the programming. They wanted us kept down. I hope you're ready to cast it off like an old worn-out coat. There is much that is precious in religion, but it's in the dear people themselves, not in the hierarchy or the structure of religion, the doctrine, or the dogma. Anything can be used for good or for ill. Most of us know this. You know, some people use the Bible to basically beat you over the head with. I wouldn't call that the best use of it. It also includes religion itself. We are such beautiful, holy souls that in our heart's devotion, we can make a good use of something that's actually not so very wonderful in itself. So I'm not even saying it's best for people to walk away from their religion. Not at all. The most important test we will pass is to remain in heart and make our own decisions based on that. Let your heart be your guide, and simply nothing and no one else. You have the real thing right there inside. Everything in the outside world is a poor imitation of that. Don't go for the second class or the second-hand stuff. Go for what's real, what's original. You see, it's not possible, the way I see it so far, to lay down any broad general rules for people. Heart is and must stay in charge of each one. That's the way we steer straight into our new golden age. That's how we bring it about. It's not easy, though. For all those who say it's easy or simple, well, in one way it is, since we already have it, and it's already ours, time being simultaneous. Yet, on the other hand of the same coin, it's a very real challenge we face that will appear in many guises day to day. We have believed in so many lies, and this is the day and age that they all come crashing down. And I say, thank God it's not all happening at once. It would just be too much of a shock. It's also a matter of staying in now, just being present in the now here. You may eventually notice that you can't be overthrown that way. All the great and scary things that are thrown at you don't abide in your now. They are in the future or the past, not here and not now. So if you'll stay in your now and examine it at any point in time, you'll see they can't really touch you. They aren't relevant to your now. The outer world won't understand how you won, how you made it through the nets and traps that they laid out for you. No one who's in mind will be able to figure it out, and that includes you, so stay out of mind. That's the site of the battle. If there's an Armageddon, that's where it's fought, in mind. And you've no need to show up for it. Let us all say thanks, but no thanks, and simply walk on, staying in heart. Things, or some things, are coming so very clear to me now, and I bet that's happening to you too. None of this is personal. Maybe take some notes when it does. We are being guided, my friends. I don't know how it's happening, being unable yet to see into the other planes, or to see much more than just a little flicker now and then. Soon I feel that we'll be able to notice those coming to our aid and those on the other planes giving us a hard time. Meanwhile, let's just stick firmly to heart. And that will be the next challenge, perhaps, the seeing into other dimensions. I don't know. It is sufficient to let the day be sufficient unto itself, staying in now. This day, this now, as it is given to you, is your real treasure. By sticking with it and tending to it carefully, you'll be that much better prepared for whatever a tomorrow may bring. Like a string of precious pearls, our days are given to us, each one quite perfect in itself. Yet together they make something even better, quite marvelous, and that's precious too. Each bead looks quite separate, and they are, yet each one to be where it is requires that all the ones that went before and those that come after be where they are. It's a network of sorts. So let us stick with the simple, for wisdom always seems to be that way. And then too, as we stick with heart and with now, we simply can't be overturned. Oh, our world and what's in it can be tumbled around and pretty radically, even destroyed, but that's your avatar, remember? That is not you. So be who you are, my friend. You find that within.